Hey G-Shock fans, it's been a while. Now that I've had a chance to use all three of these square G-Shock watches, the GW5000, the GW-M5610, and the DW5600E for about 6 months, I wanted to check back in and tell you which one is my absolute favorite as a daily use watch. Let's start on the low end with the DW5600E. Now this watch is a good classic G-Shock, but what ultimately lets it down in this comparison is the fact that the feature set is just pretty basic. It doesn't have world time, it doesn't have automatic daylight savings time, does not have atomic timekeeping or solar charging. And for me that means every time I hit that backlight button, I'm just a little bit closer to needing a battery replacement. And for a watch I wear every day, that's not something I want to have on my mind. Furthermore, the automatic daylight savings time and the atomic timekeeping means you basically never have to adjust this watch. It's always going to have the right time, the right date. It's going to account for the spring forward and falling back. We just had daylight savings time, so these two watches setting themselves was just a nice thing to have when you have so many watches. Not having to bother with these two is nice. Couple that with the fact that the display on this does not have the contrast ratio and the viewing angle of the other two. You just have to struggle a little bit harder to see it. So all in all, a nice watch, but for daily use, it's not my pick. Alright, and on the high end we have the GW5000. This is the flagship of the Square G lineup. Has this beautiful screwback DLC coated case, made in Japan, really nice materials on it, but what absolutely kills it for me as a daily use watch is the feel of the buttons. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. I'm just going to take my finger and try to press this mode button. Pressing. I mean, you really have to just squeeze it down. It takes too much force. I'm pressing it now, nothing. So this just kind of kills it for me as an everyday watch. It's too difficult to use the buttons on it and get the controls to work for you. And another minor thing I noticed compared to the GW-M5610 is the fact that the module is actually a little bit deeper set behind the glass and there's more of a relief to it, and that gives it a little bit less contrast in practice. Maybe you can see it here, maybe it's kind of hard to show in video, but when you pick up these watches and you look at them side by side, you get the idea that the LCD on this one is closer to the glass, so you get fewer internal reflections, you get a more readable display. So sadly, as nice as this watch is, it's just too difficult to use on a daily basis because of those buttons, and the extra weight of it, while it's kind of nice to have for a feel perspective, doesn't really work in its advantage as to something you'll have on your wrist all the time. And then the display, it's the same module as the 5610, don't get me wrong, and the electronics are the same, but because it's further behind the glass, it's not quite as readable as the GW-M5610. So, for that reason, this is not my choice as a daily use G-Shock. So that leaves us with the GW-M5610, my first G-Shock and my favorite G-Shock for everyday use. You get this beautiful retro design with the red accents that harken back to the original 1983 DW5000. You get a full feature set, atomic timekeeping, automatic daylight savings time, solar charging, world time, 5 alarms, you get it all. And best of all, you get buttons that are actually easy to press, and you can cycle through them as quickly as you want to, get to all of your features, and you don't have to worry about digging your fingernail in. So I think this is really the best choice if you're just looking for a G-Shock to use every day. You want the features, you want the feel, you want the look. This is just kind of the Goldilocks choice for the three G-Shocks in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, the GW5000 is a beautiful watch, but it just kind of comes across as more of a showpiece rather than something that is practical, and a lot of that comes down to the feeling of the buttons. So the GW-M5610 is top of the heap for a daily use Square G-Shock watch. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.